It has been a really fascinating day of Test cricket, right?
Yep.
Ashes.
Make that the second day too, because it's been really fascinating.
It's been day 2 of the Ashes contest. I wish I could have said this for the ICC World Test Championship final.
It was exciting for the Australians.
Australians.
Yeah.
Not us.
Exactly. It's Blue Day in Edgbaston
Yeah.
because it's in tribute to Bob Willis. And if the team that is feeling blue right now currently are Australia, they're under the pump. Losing the likes of Usman's still there, Steve
Warner,
Smith, Marnus
Steve Smith
Labuschagne, David Warner. For the 15th time, he's fallen to Stuart Broad.
Wow.
I mean, if he's got nightmares on Broad, then
I mean, to be fair, David Warner did play
Awful shot.
An absurd shot over there. But
Definitely, when you
Okay.
watch him, it's like Broad is in his head already.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure he just resides there rent free.
But the one other team who will be feeling blue by this performance and who will be wondering, oh man,
What if?
yeah.
is India. Just have a look at the captaincy, just have a look at the approach, just have a look at what England are doing. You may argue that, 4.85 runs on that oval wicket was probably not possible. But boss, look at the intent.
Yeah.
Look at the aggression. Look at the captaincy decisions.
Yeah.
Look at the team that they are playing.
Yeah.
On these 4 factors, I am going to tell you about the broader aspect of Bazball. Bazball is not just senseless, mindless hitting. It is a calculated approach,
It is.
which England are redefining with every single time they step out on the field.
Yeah, I think I remember reading somewhere where someone said that, with Bazball, it's not just about mindless hitting. It's rather than a strategy or a template, it's more a mindset.
Right.
Of being aggressive at all times, of looking for wickets when you're bowling, of ensuring that you can get quick runs however possible whilst batting. It's not like playing T20 cricket in tests, but it's about, like I remember yesterday, everyone was talking about how the last Ashes, when it started, first ball of the Ashes, England lost a wicket.
Rory
What did they
Burns,
do this time? A 4.
A 4.
Yeah, I think to me, Bazball is all about, fearlessness, first of all. Second is confidence. Third, clarity. And number 4th, and this is, I think, the most important part of Bazball, it is dominating wherever you get the chance.
Exactly.
And the Indian cricket team on all the 4 factors, epic fail.
Yeah.
On all the 4 factors when you look at it. Because look at it, in the ICC World Test Championship, this is the time to be brutal. Okay, let's look at the first major aspect, team selection. You are playing 3 pacers, right, on this wicket, 4 pacers including a certain Ben Stokes.
Who, by the way, has been bowling at full tilt.
Yes. Who is the spinner?
Moeen Ali.
And what is Moeen Ali?
He's a left-hander. Sorry, he gets the ball away from the left-handers rather.
So
Off
he's
spinner.
an off
An off
spinner.
spinner.
An off spinner.
Easy as you like. Who, by the way, they had to get out of retirement.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is what you call tactics and also understanding the same situation. What did our great Indian cricket team do? They forgot about that
Matchup.
Australia had 5 left-handers. Conveniently chose the fact that Ashwin cannot bowl well in the Sena countries. But
Or under overcast conditions or whatever
yeah,
it was.
clouds.
Cloud
Cloud.
cover.
The previous Virat Kohli, Ravi Shastri regime and this Rohit Sharma, Rahul Dravid regime. One thing is cast in stone, if there is clouds above, Ashwin cannot bowl. But you saw an Moeen Ali coming out of test retirement after 18 months. What did he do? He troubled both Usman Khwaja and
Travis
Head.
Yeah, because Head has been, he's still there. But this is not a Travis Head innings. He's been pegged back completely, and if Head isn't playing that way, then there's going to be a time where he's going to try and cut loose, where he's either going to actually be able to cut loose or throwing his wicket away.
Yeah, I think with the Indian management, what went wrong in the WTC final is, and I could tell this from the very beginning, from the very first press conference that Rohit Sharma did, that they were very, very focused on not making the same mistakes, so much so that they forgot that they have the highest wicket taker in their team. And Australia has 5 left-handers, and there could be a deadly matchup over there. but they were just so focused on not making the same mistakes. You know, he said this sentence twice
Yep.
In the same
in
PC.
the press
yeah.
conference, which means it was troubling him somewhere. It was in the forefront of his mind, you know.
Yep. And as we speak, see, the host broadcasters are showing that ICC WTC innings, and look at the way how England are bowling to a plan and consistently. And forget about spin. Where is Moeen Ali getting that much of spin?
He's not.
He's getting very little spin, but look at the lengths he's bowling.
It's the discipline that is getting Australia right now.
It can only happen in India, where you bench your leading wicket taker in that entire 2-year ICC World Test Championship cycle, and then say, oh, because of the clouds 48 hours prior itself, they misread the conditions. Under the green, it was still a dry, slow wicket.
Correct.
A slow wicket, by the way, which had no demons whatsoever on day 4 and 5.
It did.
In
The
fact,
best
it had
batting
started to ease
conditions.
out. It had started
Yeah.
to ease out considerably.
Exactly. And okay, you could argue that there were clouds for the first session, but didn't disciplined bowling fetch them 2 wickets? Broad in particular, he was very good, and India did capitalize with Mohammad Siraj and Shardul Thakur. Bad ball, but shami. But after that, they just let go of their discipline.
Which so far, to be fair, hasn't really been the case with England because they're bowling to a plan. Look, they're bowling to a plan.
Yeah.
You know for a fact head is there, so they're going to target the short ball area because they know he's pegged back. Now is the time we are going to try and attack, exploit that very obvious weakness, which India started exploiting, but only after it already reached his 100.
You know, when we look back to the WTC final, there was a particular session or two where Australia had completely lost their discipline as well when it comes to bowling, but they recalibrated and they came back even stronger. And you look at England, right? And when you compare it to the Indian Test side and what we did in the WTC, it's day 2 of the Ashes, and we're seeing the same kind of discipline here from the English bowlers that we saw from Australia yesterday as well.
Yep, we saw
Right,
that.
in on both days. Wait.
Yes,
Right,
the second day,
I was
yeah.
right. Yeah, on both days we're seeing disciplined bowling, but when it comes to the WTC final, on day 1 it was
All over the place.
all over the place. Day 2, same thing.
Yep. It's just, again, see, you play according to your strengths. You don't play according to the weaknesses that you have. You are scarred to such an extent, like, oh, I cannot look beyond my wounds. I have to now ensure that I put some balm on them, ensure that it heals. You are not a quick healer. You have been scarred by 10 years, and it clearly showed in the insipid approach that the Indian cricket team had.
So I'll point out a bit of irony in this bid to avoid making the same mistake twice. You actually ended up making the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
Because both time around your team selection was bang
Bad.
opposite of what it should have
Yeah.
been.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And it is not as if you get success with just 1 or 2 spinners in Indian. Look at the classic case of Leeds. I cite Leeds as an example as to how proactive captaincy, and I'll come to that a bit later, how proactive captaincy and guts can give you a win. 2002, even more greener, even much more cloud cover in a place like Leeds.
Yeah, Headingley of all places.
What do you do then? You would want to bowl first, right?
Yeah.
But the batters, and a certain Rahul Dravid was in that also. He said, we'll take the blows, we'll bat. What did they do? They blunted the England attack, got to 628. 3 guys got a century. All 3 greats of the game. Dravid, Tendulkar, Ganguly. If Rohit Sharma was the captain of 2002,
They would have bowled first.
they would have not won the test. And you would have still been tigers at home, lambs abroad. Even with the same case, Virat Kohli, the same treatment was meted to Ashwin. He can't bowl in the Sena countries, agreed. Record in South Africa, very bad. Record in New Zealand, very bad. But in England, he's decent. Australia, he's decent. What were the 2 factors in this World Test Championship final? Australia and England. England because you're playing at the Oval.
Correct.
And he's played at the Oval in the past. You did not play according to your strengths. Even an out of retirement Moeen Ali is troubling the Australian batters, including Travis Head. And in form Ravichandran Ashwin. The greatest what if. That another chapter has been. We thought Yajuvendra Chahal's omission in 2021 and 2022 is the greatest mystery. This is the biggest what if. what if Ashwin was there? Your batting would have looked a bit one-dimensional. Jadeja, Ashwin. Then you had Shardul, Siraj, Shami in hindsight. That would have been your 5 bowlers. Imagine pressure at one end, wickets at the other. Simple. But India chose not to.
Yeah, but India faltered with their batting as well. So
Yeah, 100%.
that's not partly, a majority of why India lost in that final. But since we're talking about Bazball and if it's teaching Indian cricket a lesson, I think, when England, when Brendan McCullum came in, when all those changes were made, split captaincy and all of that.
And split coaching also for that
Split
matter.
coaching also. There was this period of huge, darkness in England cricket where they weren't winning at all. There were some things going on, whatever. But a change had to come, right? And it had to be a big change. But then, why isn't it happening with us? What is it that is stopping us from making changes? Clearly, we know whatever is going on is not working. What does it take for the Indian cricket to, force itself to change?
That's the thing. That's the big mystery question, because we talk about, you have got a new captain, you've got a new coach, you should give them time. Ben Stokes was in charge barely a little while, as was
June last year.
Yeah, that was when Brendan McCullum came in to coach. They took a hold of things and said, look, no, whatever we're doing in test match cricket isn't working. We know what we're doing in white ball cricket is working, but in tests, no, big changes needed.
Yeah.
So what did they do? They said that, okay, we're going to free our shackles. We're going to stop playing with that fear. That's the key. Them hitting big shots is not them playing in T20 mode. It's them playing without fear. What is the fear of? The fear of failure. They played without a fear of failure. And then when they had that first series at home against New Zealand, battered them. Then you're wondering, is this the same England that were losing so meekly in Australia, to the point where fans were celebrating the fact that they didn't get whitewashed in an Ashes?
Yeah.
It was the same players more or less. It's not like they changed personnel. You didn't bring in fresh blood or anything. You just inspired these players to play with more confidence.
Yeah. And when you look at stories from when Bazball had just come in, this new fearlessness had come into the English cricket side.
Yeah.
There were stories from the dressing room that Ian Morgan, when he was the captain, he would come in and hype the players up and say that just go out, play your natural game, don't worry about anything, we're here to back you 100%.
That's what they would do in the white ball scheme of things, yes?
Look, I'm not in the Indian dressing room, so I can't say for a fact that this doesn't happen in our dressing room. But then you could see that approach, that England's approach in the press conferences or whatever press things are done. You could see that over there also. How many times do you see an Indian captain or an Indian coach coming out and saying, we want these players to play their natural game and we back them 100%.
That happens in every press conference in India.
But then,
Execution isn't there for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
One, we ourselves as a build-up, look at any aspect of society, we ourselves are resistant to change. We don't look inwards and then say, oh, okay, we have touched rock bottom, let's try and do the reset. When have we heard the word reset in Indian cricket?
we've heard it, it just hasn't happened.
It's never
It's
happened.
never happened.
Never happened, because we are centered on personality more. We are not centered around the team. That's the one reason. And second, you look at the fear of failure. England and India have had contrasting fears of failure. India were winning overseas, Sena countries. England were winning ICC events, something that they had not done for 44 years, but they suddenly are winning now. India, on the other hand, they are confounded by the fact that 10 years of ICC failures, or what do we prioritize? We have not even gotten our priorities right.
Are we prioritizing the IPL, which is our obvious cash cow? Are we prioritizing bilateral series, where again we rule the roost, and which also enables us to kind of maintain good relations with the rest of the cricketing world? Because, you go to Sri Lanka, or you play a Bangladesh or an Afghanistan, it generates big money for them too, for the opposing board.
That is okay.
No, that is fine. But is that really your priority? Because when it comes down to even bilaterals, more often than not, you're seeing so much rest and rotation take place. So that's not necessarily a priority either. Is your priority ICC tournaments, but it's not showing? What is the priority?
There is no priority. Clear with England after 2015.
They said no, enough is enough.
Adelaide, when they lost to Bangladesh, that's it. They said, okay, we can't go any further down than this. Let us just have a different approach. And for them, the rock bottom moment in red ball cricket was yet another 4-0 loss in the Ashes. They picked their moment. And then they decided we will follow it up very consistently. This is the problem that Indian cricket has. Bilateral kings, but on the big occasion, the fear of failure. The fear of failure in 10 consecutive years of ICC failures. That is pegging you back, and if you make wholesale decisions, you will be panned. If you don't make decisions, you are panned.
And also, if you're looking at how it is that England have gone about, and I think this is the biggest lesson when you're talking about it really, look no further than the batting of one Joe Root. I mean, Joe Root was the most classical of classic test batsmen in this era. Now this man is regularly hitting reverse sweeps and ram shots for sixes.
Fast bowlers.
I'm like, what?
Yesterday, he reverse ramped
Scott
Boland.
Boland.
The Scott Boland, who had Indian batters on a string.
Yeah. And he's hitting him reverse sweep for a six. And I'm like, Joe Root? And it's not the first time he's done it.
You know what the thing is? It's, having these specialists in their own respective formats, right? Australia, when it comes to test, they have Steve Smith, they have someone like a Labuschagne, right?
Khwaja.
Where is that in India? Except Pujara, where do we have that?
Except Pujara and to an extent Rahane till recent times. No, Kohli, I mean, to be fair, is still a regular in white ball cricket. Leave aside T20s and ODIs is the first choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing when it comes to India. There's too many all format players. Where is your specialization? Look at England, say their white ball team and their red ball team, and there's not that much of an overlap. There's in fact quite a few players who you would not be seeing anywhere close to the white ball scheme of things, but who are in the red ball setup.
That's the problem. Now look, you are talking about insipidness. You cannot be attacking and you cannot be aggressive for two simple reasons. The fear of failure, I mean, look at the captaincy. Okay. Look at the captaincy of Australia, look at the captaincy of Ben Stokes. Moment, 10 overs, they had hit some 50 runs. What did Australia do? They spread the field. This is the Australian team for 100 plus years have always gone on attack. They are just not able to attack. That's what Bazball has done to them. This confident approach has ensured that even the most attacking kind of mindsets can get spooked by Bazball.
And look at, by the way, what England are doing right now. They know they have two batsmen there. Khwaja is well set. Head has played out enough deliveries to the point that yes, he's not been aggressive, but he's at least able to see things properly. Look at the kind of field they have. There's no one really doing boundary riding at long on and long off. Why? They're saying, fine, let him go for the attacking shot. If it comes off, no problem. But we're going to look to stick to our tactic and try and get him out. It's not about containing the flow of runs. It's about getting the batsman out. Because you can't contain with this lot.
You can't. And this is where I come to the next part, the captaincy bit. Ben Stokes, what did he do? When Steve Smith came in, he had leg slip and leg gully in place.
Along with 3 conventional slips, by the way.
Yes. And he also had short mid-wicket and square leg kind of in that position a fielder was there. Did Rohit Sharma keep leg slip and leg gully?
He didn't even keep a leg slip, never mind leg gully.
For Steve Smith. Remember this is pressure we are talking about. And Ashes pressure can be slightly different than the ICC WTC final pressure. But remember, Smith has gotten out in the past in that same vein. Leg slip.
Because he'll shuffle and
look at what happened. Because that pressure was built, leg side was totally packed. What happened? In Qatar, trapped LBW. The pressure told. And who better than to Ben Stokes to exploit that? The big game player, you need a big guy to step up. None
always
bigger
Benjamin
than Ben
Andrew
Stokes. None bigger than him. Smith, the runs dried up. You couldn't score runs consistently. He was getting runs, but there was mid-wicket in place. So, only a single. No boundary. Leg slip, leg gully for consistent period of time. That's it. India, if they could have come out of that well and seen the world around them, they are very myopic at this point in time. They don't have any vision in this sense. Why couldn't you have maintained that same tactic to Steve Smith? And it's not as if India are not alien to it. It was Virat Kohli and MS Dhoni who did that in 2014 at Melbourne. They have forgotten 9 years down the line. This is the major lesson. Not identifying your opponent's weakness, either because you are too fatigued or because you are playing so much cricket, you don't know what is what. That seems to be happening with this Indian cricket team.
And by the way, see how much they've pegged back Travis Head, that even Stuart Broad, whose entire MO is bowling swing or trying to get movement, is consistently targeting him with short balls at the body.
Yep.
He's making Head either duck or just play a very late defense.
Well, that is what England did in the 21 Ashes.
Yeah.
It was they who exploited Travis Head's weakness. And it was a certain Mark Wood. Which is why I would say this team selection, I would have included Wood.
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't have Wood in the team,
Yeah.
should be told.
Exactly. If Wood was there in place of maybe a certain Ollie Robinson. But Robinson has done well in the county.
Robinson, you can't drop right now.
Yeah.
Really, that's
No,
part of the
no.
problem.
Yes.
It's part of the problem. It's impossible to drop Robinson. You're not dropping Anderson and Broad.
Oh,
Yeah.
And Robinson actually has kind of established himself as that third bowler by
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
It's a little unfortunate, really, for Wood.
Wood, because remember he took 6 for 37 in the last Ashes that they played. And Wood with 90 on that hard length at Travis Head's body. Can get it. But again, this is the thing. Who troubled Head the most? Siraj, because he got that 85 plus mph speed. Broad is about 80-ish, 80-82 miles per hour. But still, the tactic that was used, Rohit Sharma used that tactic too late.
He was already in the late 90s.
Too
Didn't
late.
matter at that point.
And England are already doing it at when he's 14 of 31.
Exactly.
And
See, they have a deep fine leg as well to ensure that if he gets anything there, all he's getting is a single. You can keep the pressure up with more of those.
that is the worst part about this.
And also another thing which, by the way, England have done really well, and this is something which probably doesn't get enough credit, they've actually even reinvigorated a few careers that didn't look as promising. Someone like, say, Zach Crawley or Ollie Pope, they were being derided. Even Ben Duckett, they were being derided as bang average players who are getting England caps. Look what the right mindset change has done to them, and now it's reaching a point where they actually have good riches of talents. I mean, where's Chris Wokes? Where is Chris Wokes?
Wokes can't feature now.
Exactly, because they have so much talent.
Yeah.
A Chris Wokes who would be walking into an England test team 2 years back, nowhere to be seen right now. Why?
No, this is a problem India has as well. Remember when we used to have
We have the
debates?
problem of plenty, like she said,
Yeah,
yes.
we do have that problem of having too many, amazing players, but they're not, first
Nurtured.
of all, not finding a place in the squad, even though whatever happens. And, these young talent at the domestic level are getting wasted.
So many domestic level players are just not, they're coming nowhere close. Whether it be in India A tours or whether it be getting a chance as a backup or whatever, nothing. The team looks exactly the same in many ways as it did 5 years back. So what really has changed?
You're not having that many India A tours anyway, because
Exactly, and that's
last
a big
India A
problem.
tour was Bangladesh.
Yeah.
And yet people doing well in that, you're not getting the chance. But again, I'll end the captaincy thing before we get some questions. 393 for 8 declared on the first day, 78 overs.
Take some guts.
This is gutsy cricket.
Yeah.
And a team who's had success in the past and who are shackled out of all of this, shackled free of it, only they can do it. India, they can't even do it because A, you had no confidence in your batters. 2, you could not pick the right team combination because you were caught between history, you are caught between personality. Can we take him? Oh, can we not take him? You still haven't figured out your main player's strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, even after playing them for 10 years. 10 years. And remember, if history is to be judged, Ashwin took 18 wickets in 2018. Why suddenly that has now gone out of the window? Why? It's because you want to be convenient and myopic. Bazball is teaching India 4 major lessons.
Yeah.
1, aggression. Something that India didn't have at all. Even in the Kohli era, it was convenient aggression.
It was aggression only when you knew you were in a better position.
Exactly.
Was it aggression when, say, for instance, you had your backs to the wall?
Exactly. You are not aggressive in Adelaide 2020.
I mean, to be fair, Virat Kohli did bring a new energy into the team that we hadn't seen before, right?
Oh, I hadn't seen in a while.
hadn't
Energy
seen in a
is
while.
there. Energy is
is-
there. There was
yeah.
never any doubt about energy. But I'm
No,
saying,
aggression as well.
uh-huh.
Aggression, sometimes it would disappear, sometimes it would
The
go.
one guy you can credit to bringing aggression in this team, and it was clinical aggression, consistent aggression, was Dada,
Yeah.
Saurav Ganguly.
That's a long back now.
That's what I'm saying. Kohli
Yeah.
was the next best you had in
Yes,
that
yes.
regard.
Exactly.
Dhoni wasn't aggressive, he was calculating.
But Dhoni in tests less said the better.
Yeah, he's not your best red ball captain,
Yeah.
definitely. But see, so lesson number 1, aggression missing. Second, lack of confidence.
Yeah.
This Indian team, look at the England 11. Each player loaded with confidence and the clear clarity of what to do.
Role clarity is there. Yeah.
A Zach Crawley all the way down to Johnny Bairstow know what to do. I come in, I attack. Look at it. Scott Boland getting reverse ramp for a 6. Pat Cummins, for the first time in his career, did not take a wicket, did not bowl a maiden in Test cricket. England have bowled more maiden overs than Australia had on a single day. Already. And they are only 1.5 sessions into this second day.
Yeah.
That is the role clarity. So, aggression, India, cross, learn from England the art of aggression. Second,
Role clarity.
role
always.
clarity. All of them. Forget conditions. These same players will do well even in New Zealand. These same players will do well even in, you may say, Australia.
Or even Pakistan.
All Pakistan. Major test could happen in India. Because spinning conditions, they'll prepare dust bowls
Like they did for Australia.
like they did. So, there you will see a test of this. Okay. Number 3, proactivity. Where is the proactivity? In India, if you look at it, why they spooked by the conditions? Even now you're spooked. I can understand in 2002. I can understand you were tigers at home, lambs abroad. But here you won tests abroad.
Consistently.
Yet you're spooked by 1 hour of cloud,
And some spits
And
of
green.
grass. Yeah.
lack of confidence.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Bazball is telling you to be confident in every facet. Look at England.
For that matter, in fact, even the Australian team,
Yeah.
they're very confident in their own strengths. Which is why when we kept talking about, and I've made this point before, is that previously in, we debate what could India's 11 be. We never had one debate about Australia's 11. We
No.
knew exactly what it would be.
Yeah.
And they would play Nathan Lyon.
You knew they'd play Nathan Lyon. You knew they'd play 4 seamers and 1 spinner, leaving aside the conditions, which could have they could have brought in 2 spinners.
Yeah.
But they said, no, this is our strength. We'll stick to our strength. And what happened?
Yeah.
And you don't
Having-
need Bazball to do that.
Yeah.
Huh?
Having so much clarity in your team, in your squad, that even people outside who are not even in the
Privy,
scheme of
yeah.
things know what your squad is going to be, because those are the best 11 players you could find in the country.
Exactly.
And
Right?
I end this thing with one more major point. You may say no aggression. Look at England. 393 for it, no problem. We declare. If Australia bat, they bat. But then we are setting the tone. We are telling the Australians, you want to survive 4 overs and survive this next day? Survive. But look at what they did. Because of their aggression, Australia were on the back foot. They set fielders way back. In India, we had pioneers of Bazball. Before Bazball, Virender Sehwag and Rishabh Pant.
Yeah.
Sehwag was your ultimate pioneer.
Yeah. He would play is exactly the same way, regardless of what ball was being bowled to him.
Exactly. Rishabh Pant.
Yeah.
You had 2 guys who did not even regard the conditions. Why can't this Indian team do that? They had Rohit Sharma, they had Shubman Gill. Shubman Gill, an IPL megastar, can't he have done the same IPL technique? You may argue, oh, conditions, but then Bazball teaches us that forget conditions, play confidently.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So,
Mindset as much as anything else.
mindset.
But then, to kind of put in a positive note here, we still believe in the Indian management and in the Indian team, and it's just a little bit of tough love that the
they
fans
need.
are giving right now,
That they need.
that they
Tough
need as
love.
well.
I mean, as I had said, being optimistic is great, but being delusional isn't great.
No, but we need to give them this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Simple as.
4 years you reached 2 finals.
No.
Kudos.
And then not won those finals.
But still, you reached the finals.
No, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but-
if in a sport where 10 teams are good, in which 5 teams are elite, if you're the 4th best, you ain't good enough.
That's
Not with the kind of resources India has.
Being overly negative also does nothing for you. So
No, it doesn't. But
It doesn't. But
we-
that is what one of our family members is like given a super chat. He's very disappointed with the
Yeah.
players even now. And about the Dulip Trophy. He's saying that Ishan Kishan resting for the Dulip Trophy. Look, the reports that are going around, even Gargi has done some video on that, even I have also done a video on that, is that he might go to the West Indies. And KS Bharat's inclusion in the South Zone team means he may probably not be going to the West
Yeah.
Indies. Because remember, the Dulip Trophy format is such that South Zone are already in the semi-final. East Zone versus Northeast Zone, Central Zone versus North Zone. Those four teams will play a playoff and then they will join West Zone and South Zone in the semi-finals. Why is that? Because West Zone were already in the finals last year along with South Zone. So the team that plays the final
has that advantage.
has that advantage. So, Rishabh is saying luck is required, but how much more?
In fact, as Baka points out, saying that 4 teams play and they can't win, exactly my point. If you're looking at Test cricket, there's at best maybe 4 teams that are really good.
Yep.
And the 4th team can be any one of Pakistan, New Zealand, and South Africa. Take your pick based on the WTC cycle you're in.
Yep.
Take your pick.
Mr. Fact also has an interesting statement. He's saying, guys, you also have to agree that Stokesy and Baz are asking for flat
Yeah, that's true.
pitches.
That
They
is
might
true.
struggle against.
That's what I had said. The acid test could come in India in 2024. Remember, India are playing 2 Sena countries and 5 tests against England in at home in this cycle. The 2 Sena countries are South Africa 2 tests or 3 tests, Australia 5 tests.
But I think based on the kind of negativity that you had around pitches, I'd be shocked if they once again prepared rank turners like that.
Yeah.
Look,
I think they'll prepare good spinning tracks, but not rank turners.
Yeah, because it was Indian batters who struggled on it.
Exactly.
If
Look at Indore.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, see, Mr. Fact, what is the definition of a good spinning track? Even that line has been blurred in India. I'm sorry.
It has.
It has been blurred. See, but they did well in Pakistan.
Yeah, but
That were
Pakistan,
roads.
Pakistan are roads.
They were roads.
Exactly.
Just like this Edgbaston way. It's not a proper pitch. It's a road. It's like the M5.
It's very flat.
Very flat. So yeah, your point is well taken. For flat pitches and all that, they might succeed. But again, 2024, February, March. Let's see how India shapes up for that England 5 Test series.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Just go slightly.
Just go down.
नहीं, पहले ऊपर also is fine.
Oh, Rakesh Thanikachalam was back after a very long time. Virat was a far better captain than Rohit. Yeah, I mean, as far as intent
As far
is
as
concerned.
Test cricket, I will
Yes.
wholeheartedly
Yes,
agree.
Yes.
No, even if you look at bilaterals, I mean, he was the absolute king when it came to white ball, when it came to T20Is. His success numbers are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Absolutely.
But again, the one thing that goes against Virat Kohli, 2 things. One, lack of ICC trophies. Not everybody can get ICC wins. Second, that chopping and changing, the horses for courses approach, destroyed Indian cricket, and they are still carrying the scars of it even today.
And the funny part is they're still carrying the legacy of it.
Yes.
Because you still see it happen.
I think Virat was very keen on trying these youngsters and all that.
It backfired, though.
It was, I think, a little bit about giving chances to a lot of young players, but then
It went on the other end of the pole.
Yeah.
It was a kerfuffle, if you may look at it. It became a khichdi.
In fact, Vaishnav, I'll agree with you. England right now are definitely one of those teams to watch when it comes to playing Test cricket because they make watching Test cricket fun.
Fun.
You don't know what they're going to do.
And if Shane goes, I remember Shane saying, I will be shocked if they don't make it to the WTC final this time in 25.
That's the thing. This time now, suddenly you have a competition from England because again, bear in mind, had England not played and lost so many tests in this cycle, if you consider just their Bazball form, they should have actually been in the final.
But
They could have been in the
came
final.
1
Bazball
year
came too late.
1
Exactly.
year too late.
Exactly.
But Sridhar Deshpande is like saying, needs strong leader to establish Bazball approach. Stokes hasn't given any notable performances with the bat, yet he is not ridiculed for his batting.
But
performance.
Deshpande, Sridhar, the thing is that you have to remember one thing with Stokes. Another reason why people don't really look at his form is because I think he's become mythical as a big match player at this point. Even in the T20 World Cup, people were like, oh, his form of the bat hasn't been great. He's not been bowling much, yada yada. But he won you 2 matches in the later stages, a must-win game in the group stage and the final. And he did it by playing conventional cricket.
Yep.
So he's that player.
And I don't think that can happen in India. Because
It's easier said than done.
if you say Rohit doesn't fire for 5 games or 1 year, we still say, oh, he's the captain, we can't drop our captain. Virat Kohli, for 2 years, didn't we stress on the fact that he's got no hundreds, but his white ball average in that lean patch in ODIs was 47 and in T20s was 71. But yet no hundreds. That's the point. And this is where Ruben Loganathan's comment I'll take. India is override by successes that happened a decade again and success of IPL. There's nothing good at present among the Indian team in all formats. Because who gets the long rope? We don't know. Who gets the short rope? We don't know. You are changing teams on a regular basis, rest and rotation, making that switch to white ball to red ball, no time. There is no time.
It's all a big mess.
It's a big mess.
Which needs sorting. Whether or not that sorting happens
Who
soon.
will sort it out?
And that's the thing. Again, how much time do you have? October is the World Cup. Now you need to forget about the World Test Championship. Focus all of your energy on the ODI format. Are you going to be able to do that? That's the big question.
Yeah. Yep. So the last comment of the day, I will just take this one because laughing and ridiculing Bazball, Ruben Loganathan, absolutely mistaken. We were laughing and ridiculing the term called Bazball. We were not ridiculing
The
or
style.
laughing the
Correct.
process. There is nothing called Bazball. There was a pioneer in Bazball called Virendra Sehwag and Rishabh Pant. Even Virat Kohli used to do that.
No, for that matter, if you're talking about Bazball, which is aggressive cricket, then the West Indies teams of the 70s and 80s were champions in that regard.
Even Australia, Steve Waugh's team in the 90s and 2000s. 3.85 was the rate at which they scored in the 2000s.
Yeah, and by the way, Bazball is a term which even Brendan McCullum hates.
Exactly.
FYI. He himself hates it. And I still say the term is a bit ridiculous. It's just so popular, like calling, I don't know, MI versus CSK El Clasico. You can't call it that. But it's just popular usage. So it's same here.
Exactly. We were laughing and ridiculing the term. We were not ridiculing the process.
Yeah.
So
but the way they've gone about with things is admirable. Let's be fair.
Admirable, just 2 losses and that too, one of them by 1 run.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was epic, but I wish it had happened much earlier. So England are giving India a lot of lessons.
Whether they'll get taken, that's something that we'll know with time.
We will know with time. So that's about it for this edition of the Dugout. Thank you so much, folks, for all your comments. Thank you so much for all the love and criticism that you give at us. We will take it all. And join us for more such action. Remember, there's F1 to look forward to today. There is also, Sunday is also packed for badminton. You've got Satvik Sairaj, Janki Reddy and Chirag Shetty creating history. Join us for that. Then you've got the Canadian Grand Prix.
Oh, yes.
Nations League.
Final tomorrow.
Nations League final
11
tomorrow.
PM.
And there's lot of sporting action with the Ashes also.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, folks. From me, Shane and Gargi, it's bye-bye.